Alright guys, what I thought I'd do is I've made a video for the Mustang, made a video for the truck, might as well make a video for this Fiesta. So for those who normally follow me or whatever, it's been a little over a year now. I bought this Fiesta. It's a 2016 Fiesta ST. I was lucky enough to find one with the sunroof, moonroof, whatever you want to call it, and the heated Recaros. When I bought it, it had a little bit higher miles for its age, but that didn't really matter too much to me because I figure for the year and the mileage, it was mostly highway. And when I test drove this car, everything was nice and tight. There wasn't any squeaks or rattles or anything. So I said, what the hell, I bought it. This is an amazing little car. I mean, if you compare it obviously to the Mustang, it's a completely different animal. But this car is a car that doesn't take itself very seriously. I mean, this thing's only a 1.6 liter turbo, but this thing gets down in boogies when it wants to. So I'm just going to drive around and, I don't know, we'll talk a little bit about this car, and I'll edit what I don't want out and I'll put it up on YouTube or something. So we'll just go for a ride. I'll take the normal route that I go with the truck or the Mustang, or even if you've seen previous videos where I took the RX-8 that I used to have. I took that out. So we're going to go for a little bit of a drive. See what we can get ourselves into. So when I bought the car, I think I am the third owner of this car. One of the previous owners had spent a decent amount of money on aftermarket parts. So it has a aftermarket high flow cat, a full 3-inch, I think it's MBRP exhaust on it, and I'll admit that it sounds pretty good outside of the car, but inside it droned so bad that I had to weld in a Vibrant Ultra Quiet resonator at the back just to quiet down the drone on the inside, and I think it's done what it needs to do. I think it's taking care of a lot of the drone. Hopefully it's not bad where, you know, you're like, ah. But I like the way it sounds now. It's loud enough that you know there's something there, but it's not killing your eardrums when you drive down the highway. So, and then the previous owner also put in a aftermarket intercooler, which everybody that is in the Fiesta community says the factory intercooler is pretty pathetic. So it's a good thing. Put that in. I'm trying to think of what else I've got. Some of the things that I've done. I put a different airbox in it. This is when I bought the car, it had a cold air intake on it, but it was in pretty sad shape, so I replaced it with a different airbox. Well, let's close this here. There we go. That's better. So anyway, one of the things I did is I put a different airbox in it and a Canon flat panel filter. One of the other things I did is it's a Velucitech. They have this big mouth snorkel that basically goes through the radiator support, and it has this big mouth opening that goes in the very front in the grill area. So it is actually drawing in very, very cold don't actually know, but in theory, it's a good idea. So I went for it. And then, let's see, what else have I done? I've got a Whoosh brand, supposed delete pipe slash cold side charge pipe. I've got a hot side charge pipe on order, just hasn't shown up yet. So, and then one of the newest additions is the Cobb AP or access port. I believe when I bought the car, it had already been tuned, but everybody told me that if you have a Cobb and you unmarry it to the car goes back to stock. But the car ran so well that I had a hard time believing that it was still a stock tune. So when I bought this, we went and started with the Cobb off the shelf, stage 1, nothing aggressive, but it ran like crap at wide open throttle. So with the help of a tuner buddy of mine, we got it running a little bit better than when I first got it, so that's always a good thing. And with the Cobb, it's got all these gauges. You can watch in real time what the car is doing, so that's kind of neat. But one of the other things is the shift knob was the original stock leather. It was pretty well beat up, so I've got a Ford carbon fiber ST knob. Look at my knob. But let's see what else. Well, one of the things I had to do when I first bought the car presented itself very well. Only one door ding and very few scratches. It looked like somebody had ran into it, or he backed into something. So the rear bumper was all scraped up. I fixed that. But one of the other things that really let this car down when I bought it was, you know, the gray in these seats was so dirty that it was almost a brown. So I had my buddy Colin. He owns his own detailing shop. I had him clean the seats up, and they look. I mean, they did look brand new. It's been a while since then, and I daily drive this car. I drive back and forth to work, so you know I get dirty, the seats get dirty. I try my very best to keep up and keep the car clean, but you know, as most of you know, life gets in the way. Sometimes you don't have the time that you once thought you had. But so let's talk about the car itself. It's a Fiesta, so like Ford's cheapest car, most econo box car they made. They added a turbo and stiffer suspension and a few other goodies like the Recaro seats, and that's all it is. So let's see, is it comfortable? Yeah, for me it's comfortable, but I'm a slender built gentleman, so these Recaros fit me almost perfectly. If you were somebody who was thick with 2 C's, I don't think you'd fit in these Recaros. They're like very, very tight for me, and but these are probably one of the most comfortable factory seats I've ever been in. So I could take long trips and not feel a thing. It's not, you know, it's not too hard to sit in. It's very comfortable. The car itself rides okay. I mean, the suspension's been tweaked, so it rides a little stiffer. I am on stock suspension. I haven't lowered it yet. One of the things that I wanted to make sure is when I bought the car, I really didn't care for the stock wheels. And however, that being said, after doing online searching for some sort of aftermarket wheel, being that the car has the bolt pattern of 4x108, it's kind of difficult to find aftermarket wheels for this car, let alone my picky ass ones that I liked. So I It's a funny story. Well, it's not funny, but this is like a year ago. I got a hold of a guy who works for Signature Wheels. I talked to him on Instagram, and I said, hey, I know you specialize in wheels for Mustangs, but have you ever done wheels for a Fiesta? And he said, no, we've never done wheels for Fiesta. And he said, would you like to change that? And I just talking with them, at the time they were a little bit more than I could afford, but after a couple months, hold on, this is one of my favorite corners. Burning a hole in my pocket. I said, hey, let's do it, dude, let's do it. So being that these were one-off wheels, I had to take some measurements for them and turn those in, and I don't remember if it was 6-7 weeks, I don't remember what it was, but all of a sudden 4 big boxes arrived at my door, and I gotta tell you, they are incredible wheels. I mean, just the build quality. I mean, they're machined, or they're forged. So just incredible wheels. I had them in black like the stock wheels were, but I went out and got different tires because when I bought the car, it looked like the dealership that was selling it said, it needs new tires. Just go find whatever cheapest set of 4 tires you can find. So they ended up buying some Westlake tires, and I had never heard of them. Apparently they're not terrible, but they rode like crap. They were loud. They didn't have a whole lot of grip, you know, for my driving. So I went out and got some Firestone Firehawk Indy 500 tires, and these hug the road pretty well. I mean, for a high performance all season tire. I could have gone, you know, full autocross or race tire and went and got some Falcons, but I didn't really want to do that because I still drive this every day, and I want it to be, you know, nice riding and quiet, and but yet still grippy. So put those on, and that's pretty much brings you up to date to where the car is now. There's a little cosmetic things I've done. There's wiper delete panel that I just bought, and I bought it secondhand from a guy, and it had a few cosmetic flaws with it, and I fixed that. I painted it to match the car, and that takes care of, because I didn't really like the rear wiper hanging off the back. It kind of made it look like an SUV or a minivan, and I didn't like it, so we went ahead and deleted that. You know what? I'm going to turn around and go right back. So yeah, this but if you want to know why I bought a Fiesta ST. So I have the truck. The truck's only extended cab, so there's only room for realistically 2 people. With the wife and the kids, we didn't have room for them in the truck when they were real little, maybe. And then there's the Mustang. The Mustang does have room for 2 in the back, but it's not very comfortable for all 4 of us. So and both of them, well, the truck gets not great gas mileage. And we're talking to the tune of 14 miles to the gallon. Yes, I've lifted it and put, you know, off-road bumpers, front, rear, and sliders, and more aggressive tires, but for God's sakes, the Mustang gets 17 and a half. So I thought, and I was daily driving the truck, so I figured I need to get something that gets a little bit better gas mileage, because we all know gas prices aren't ever going to drop. So went out and I started looking for something that was better on gas, was still fun to drive, and had room for people in the back if I needed to. So I originally started looking at like Mazda 3s and Mazda 6s quick. And I go, okay. So we go out and he gets on it, and it's one of those things where it sets you back in your seat. And I'm like, whoa, you weren't lying, dude. So I was sold right there. I mean, it was comfortable. I mean, his car didn't have the Recaros, but the seats were still comfortable. There's still plenty of room for somebody in the back. Now, is there a lot of room in the back for stuff? I mean, if you've ever seen this car outside, it's very squished side to side, but it's kind of tall. I mean, with the sunroof, I have a lot of headroom. But so I was hooked. So I just got online and I found one, and it was an hour and a half away at a Land Rover Jaguar dealership. So I don't know if somebody what do they call it, traded this in, or what they traded it in on, but it was there, and they wanted way more than it was worth. And so, the traditional car buying experience at dealerships, I went in, I said, look, I'll give you this much. Oh, we can't do it that way, or we can't go that low, we'll go this much. I'm like, nah, no. And so I just left. And so a couple days later, I got a phone call from a gentleman at the dealership, and he said, look, he said, I'm new here. Sounds like you had interest in this car. He said, I don't know what you guys were discussing. I said, but we would like to, make this happen. So a lot of back and forth, but we settled on the price, and I thought it was a fair deal. And after seeing what some of the other ones have gone for, I felt like I actually got a pretty good deal. So I mean, most of the other cars have a little bit less miles, but hey, whatever. This car's been pretty well looked after. I mean, the only thing really I can knock it is the seat over here is kind of worn, but I mean, it's got 85,000 miles on it, so I mean, somebody's been getting in and out of it a lot. But the steering wheel is a little worn too. I'm fixing that. Stay tuned for that. I really don't know what else to talk about, but I think what I'm going to do is I might reset my cameras and go back that direction again, because I was busy talking, concentrating on talking more than driving. So I think what I might do is I'm going to reset the cameras, and I'm going to see if we can get some cool angles for you guys. So with that being said, I will see you guys later.